The past handful of chapters have made a lot of people confused, a lot of people unsure. How is Denji feeling? What is he going through? And sometimes it's definitely not easy to figure out his intentions, where his thoughts are, where his mind is, what's he currently thinking about? How does he feel? When you ask yourself these questions and when you look over the entirety of the story contextually, the previous handful of chapters make a lot of sense, and you apply the mindset that has been shown to you for so long to those previous chapters, you know this is not a good thing. It never has been a good thing. It's been very detrimental, it's been very manipulative, it's been very emotionally taxing, and it comes at a cost. And I think that is the biggest umbrella term that I can give it. It's costly. The way Fujimoto writes his character comes at this very slow progressive cost, and you've been seeing that build up in so many different ways, but what I think people don't like is that it feels too similar. This is very different to the Makima situation. This is a lot more introspective, arguably the most introspective that Denji has been as a character since the beginning of Chainsaw Man Part 1. This story is told differently. Yes, this isn't a weekly reading experience, of course. It's not the same as Chainsaw Man Part 1. It's okay if you don't like it, but to wrongfully or purposefully misguide or mischaracterize or even just fail to at least try to understand what Denji's currently going through, I think is a really big disservice to the character that he actually is, the issues that he actually represents, the problematic nature of everything that is going on. It is as serious as you want to take it. If you don't take it seriously, if you've never seen Chainsaw Man that serious before, then by all means, that's entirely up to you. But if you are someone that cares about Fujimoto's writing, that cares about the seriousness that you can put into it and the thought that goes behind his words and his actions and how he details his characters, you're in for a treat every single time. Denji is not the only character getting this beautiful, heartfelt, tragic, introspective thought process. You're getting it with Asami Taka. You're getting it with another main character, which already is so incredibly difficult to do because they share the spotlight. Trying to do a balancing act, for example, for your main characters, or even just backseat your main character to introduce a new one, is hard. It's not an easy thing to do. There's a reason why probably all of your favorite authors don't do it. And it's honestly just difficult. Why fix something? Why change something if it isn't broke to begin with? I have a lot of respect for Fujimoto for doing this, for introducing Asa, because he has introduced someone that's just as or an equal to Denji when it comes to being a character on their own. How they act, how they think, the writing behind it, the element that is Asami Taka adds such a different perspective and a refreshing perspective at that to the Chainsaw Man narrative. But it also, for me, sets as a reminder on how the story has changed, how Fujimoto has changed as an author, what he tends to focus on now and what he appreciates. It's not as chaotic as Part 1. It's not as even goofy as Part 1. It has its moments, of course, but it has changed. And for me, that is for the better. I feel like I'm seeing more of the personal writing of Tatsuki Fujimoto and not something that was potentially originally mitigated and controlled a little bit by the Shonen Jump formula, having to write a certain type of way, having to structure a chapter a certain type of way. So it's funny to me that people kind of offhandedly deny that, because as soon as you go into Chainsaw Man Part 2, all of that changes, all of that disappears, and you see more truth behind his writing. And it's okay to have structure. It's okay for Shonen Jump to do what they do to provide help and aid and reading retention, but it can also limit. I recorded the first 5 minutes of this, right? And you probably started to hear the rain in the background. It just started to pour down. You can probably still hear it in the back now. It's a little bit better, but I'm sitting here for like 20 minutes, just waiting, buying my time. Anyway, I think the yap session at the beginning is important. I think it's valuable. It is interpretive as well. Everyone has their own opinion, their own perspective. Mine isn't just the only valuable one. It's something that you can have value in, but again, it's my perspective. The same way that you have your own opinion and perspectives. That shouldn't have to be told. I think it's just a disservice to not at least try and see what Fujimoto is trying to do. Does that make sense? And even if you don't think he does it well, at least you're approaching that information. At least you're trying to read it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you like what you like and you hate what you hate. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to enjoy Chainsaw Man. I'm going to enjoy this process of Denji, this evolution for his character, and just the complexity of his mind. This chapter alone is a perfect example of the simplicity of the background. They're here eating sushi, someone's making it in front of them. It's a normal everyday occurrence. That's the norm, and I mention this quite often. And then Fujimoto will merge in something that is very profound profound and something very overwhelming and complex. It's a way to elevate it into a whole new avenue. When you're mixing these hard-hitting topics, these difficult conversations to swallow with the normalcy of everyday life, it puts it up on a pedestal naturally. It elevates it. It makes it easier to even see and digest, but it's also traumatic. It's problematic. It's relatable even. Not the situation itself, but how it merges in with the norm. I think it is a difficult thing to balance. Therefore, if you just want to go off facts, Denji does not know what to do. This boy is lost. He is broken. He is in his head. He is in his emotions. And this is one of the first times that you're seeing it used in a way that is so detrimental. It's getting to a point where he is just doing things off a response, off an emotion, off a thought or a feeling. It's just snappy and happening. There's no thought going into it. Basically, he's overloaded. He's confused because deep down he knows he's been manipulated. Deep down he knows that he's been abused. Deep down he knows that all of this wrongdoing has taken place, yet it merges with his own understanding of what he likes and what he enjoys and what he deserves. At the end of the day, he kind of just wants a genuine love. He wants a simple, innocent, genuine love. And I think the reason for that is because his mind and his emotions stopped growing. It stopped evolving at a young age. That trauma starts to set in. So it stunts growth, quite literally. The love that you're seeing now is that of kind of a child. That's what he's seeking. Something that's innocent and sweet and gentle and kind. And you probably noticed that he's never gentle with himself. He's never kind with himself. It's always all in or all out, and it tears him in two. It is a tragedy unfolding in front of our eyes, and it's only getting exasperated more and more by the situation that's going on, backed by the normalcy. This might sound all very confusing, but I promise you this is the easiest way that I can explain it. This is the easiest way that I view it. And I'm sure there's a lot of great videos out there that fully dive into the nooks and crannies and the depth behind all of this stuff in a much bigger scale, longer scale, or more complex scale even. The reason that I sit here yapping is because the importance of this chapter, albeit very simple, is Denji and how you view him currently and what he's going through. So everything that I've just talked about covers Denji. The rest is a little bit murky. Again, it's normal. They're here, they're eating sushi. Asa is still kind of weird about the situation. She's not really sure. Fami here eating food as well. She's not really doing anything. The other two kids, kind of sad that Nail and the big brolic dude are watching over the hideout. So what else do you have? The most shocking thing to come from this is that Barem has returned. Yes, he is here. After everything that he said, after everything that he's done, he's here to really rub it into Denji's face. But this time it is different. I need to make this very, very clear. The way that Denji acts when Barem is here, when he arrives, when he starts talking, he sits down next to everyone, Denji is monstrous. He is reactionary. He just goes in without a second thought, ready to obliterate this man off the face of the earth. But the difference, and I need to clarify, the difference is that he doesn't even transform. He doesn't try to rip his chainsaw cord. He doesn't try to do anything else. He just gets up with the chopsticks. That is how driven by rage that this boy is. That's how lost he is. Because he knows what Barem's capable of. He knows the abilities. He knows the strength, and yet he was just about to use chopsticks. It might seem like nothing, but to me it shows just how thoughtless, how provoked, how angry, how tunnel visioned, specifically framed tunnel visioned Denji is right now. The only thing he cares about is Nayuta, where she is she okay, what's going on, and Barem uses that to his advantage, and he's here to manipulate this situation right now. Public safety is out front of this building, which means that they have been tracking Denji since they left the hideout, which probably means that the big brolic dude and Nail at the hideout has most likely been captured as well. RIP to them. Barem reckons, and this is his argument, that he can take Denji to Nayuta, but you don't really know where his intentions lie. He asks for Denji to save them from public safety. If not, they'll be dismembered. In a way, Barem has got what he wanted, weaponizing Denji against public safety and using him to do the dirty work. This is an incredibly sensitive situation because if Denji does this, if he does fight public safety, if he does go up against Yoshida of all people, it's an not going to end well. Public safety aren't going to let him fly under the radar. They already don't. That's why they're here. But Denji has never attacked them. That's the difference. Now, if he's being utilized as a weapon, thanks to Barem, Denji doesn't really have much of a choice. Do you see how we're kind of backed into a corner? Do you see how he doesn't really have many other options? It's getting to a point of critical where the only thing that will get Denji through this, the best way that he knows how, is fighting. The difference this time is that he's fighting for someone, and that can be used against him. What does make me curious is how everyone else will react to this. Fami seems perfectly fine, almost like it's all going to plan for her. She is the one that prompted to go to sushi, so I'm thinking there's more to the mind games of what she is playing. She is a goofy character, but she's not dumb. I don't know how Art is going to take this. Maybe she's the crux or the nail in the coffin for this situation where it actually helps, where it matters. If there's anyone that can kind of help Denji right now and pull him out of this rut or this corner that he's been backed into, it's her. I always joked about Yoshida fighting Denji, but there is a very good chance that it is on the horizon, and I can only hope that there's something more with Yoshida. I feel like there's more for him when it comes to being a person, when it comes to being a human, when it comes to even caring about Denji. The lengths that he would have gone through for him is admirable. But now that we're getting to a point of critical, will he unfortunately have to fight him? I don't know, and I'm kind of scared to find out.